Hey gang, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks for checking out today's video. Much appreciated. Guys, today we're going to rank what I consider the 5 or 6 top deep diving crankbaits for summertime fishing, because man, we're right in the middle of deep cranking season. It's going to be lasting a few months, and I've got 5 crankbaits here that I've really done good on. I'm gonna rank them sort of like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let you know what I think is the best one out there. So hey guys, real quick, I just wanted to make you aware of our new solar bat sale we got for the month of June. Got a Father's Day sale for the month of June. If you buy a pair before Father's Day, you get 30% off on my Signature Series RB2 Series sunglasses. So I'll put the solar bat link in the description. Get you a pair of these good solar bat glasses. I suggest this high contrast yellow, man. I really like this lens here. It really brightens things up, so much appreciated with that. Okay guys, let's get into this a little bit here. I'm gonna sort of go through what I consider the top 5. I'm not saying like, you know, this is like a real, you know, concrete rating system, because the certain crankbaits have certain applications under different water clarity conditions and different times of the year, as far as summer wise, as far as how the fish positioned. But I'm gonna sort of go through what mine are as far as how many fish I've caught on them. So we'll get it through there. Okay, the first one, guys, we're going to talk about is the old fat-free shad crankbait. Now, Mark Davis won the Bassmasters Classic on this back in 1995, I think. And this is, they call it a fat-free shad because it was really one of the first sort of the flat side design for a deep diving crankbait. This bait is really good when those fish are sort of in that 8 to 12 foot zone. It's my favorite time to fish the fat-free shad. It's usually use it on 12 to 15 pound test Seaguar and Vizex line. It's really good fishing ledges, really good fishing deeper points, that type of stuff. It comes through brush real good. It's got a pretty loud rattle on the thing, so it's really good for aggressive fish. So when you pull up to a spot for the first time, this is a good choice because it's sort of a loud, wide wobbling, aggressive crankbait. And also, guys, I will put the Baitworks link in the description. All the crankbaits I'm talking about here are going to be available to you guys, especially the mega bass that are harder to get. So, okay, fat-free shad. Second one out there, guys, is the old DD22. Guys, this was my standby deep crankbait for years. I've caught a ton of big fish on this, especially in the month of June. DD22, it says it's going to run 22 foot deep. I don't think it does. I've never hit 22 feet with it. Again, this is that crankbait that I use a lot in sort of that 8 to 15 foot zone. My favorite time to use the DD22 is if those fish, they're out on those deeper structures and ledges, but they're a little bit shallower. Say they're in that 7 to 10 foot zone, and I'll put this on a little bit heavier line, like 15 to 17 pound test Seaguar and Vizex, and I'll really try to dig that bottom hard. This bait, for whatever reason, the profile and action of this thing, it catches a ton of fish. The problem with the DD22, it's got pretty poor quality control, and these things, you get them where they run crooked a lot. And the problem with the DD22 is that when you adjust the line tie on there, a lot of times it makes it weak, and it doesn't set real tight. So if you don't get one that runs straight out of the package, a lot of times it's hard to get this thing to run right. So I have to go through a bunch of them, but once you get a good one, it can be really good for you guys. Okay, the next one out there, guys, is the Strike King 6XD. This bait right here is probably been one of the most popular deep diving crankbaits out of the last 5 years. It's a real high quality crankbait. Again, the components aren't real high quality in it. The cost on this crankbait is sort of a mid-range crankbait, but it's a really good fish catcher. It's sort of got a combination of a flat yet round side. I really like the profile for it. This bait has caught a ton of deep cranking fish over the past 5 years. It's really good all around. Most of the time when I'm fishing the deep 6, a lot of times I'm fishing a little bit lighter line, like 10 to 12 pound test Seaguar and Vizex, trying to hit that 15 foot zone with it. It's a little bit subtle. It's got some noise, yet the action on it's subtle. Got a lot of bites on the 6XD. This is one of the favorites out there. Next one, guys, is probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite, is the Megabass 6XD. Now, this bait right here, guys, it's got more fame in the state of California than anywhere. This is sort of like a cult following favorite in California. A lot of those guys that deep crank out like on Clear Lake, a lot of the different California lakes. That's where this thing came to fame. But I've done a little bit few videos on the Megabass Deep 6. This is one of my favorite crankbait profiles for the summertime. It sort of has that tuna body on it. It's got a little bit subtler action. It doesn't have a big wide wobble. It's sort of got a medium tight. It's a subtle crankbait. Even though it's a big deep diver, it's subtle. But the thing about the Deep 6, what you like about it, it gets deep. This sucker will get legitimately 20 foot deep if you fish it on like 10-pound test Seagar and Bezex line. So this is definitely one of my favorite, if not my favorite, deep diving crankbaits. So the last one, guys, I'm going to talk about. Now this is something that a lot of guys have probably never fished this. This thing, guys, is sort of like giving a secret away. This is that Big M 7.5 deep diving crankbait. This is a big honking crankbait. Here's an example. DD22 is known as a big crankbait. Look at the size comparison with the Big M 7.5. This is a big bass lure. This will get you a big fish. It'll get it if you're fishing a lake that has got big ones in it, like a fairly decent population of 4-pound class fish. Try this Big M 7.5, guys. It will get super deep. This thing will legitimately hit 25 foot. I don't fish this thing in that 25-foot zone. I put this thing on heavy line. I fish it on 20-pound test Seagar and Bezex line, and I try to, again, target that 10 to 15-foot zone with it. You can put this thing on 20-pound line, and you can speed crank it and burn it down, sort of, like I said, that 8 to 15-foot zone on the ledges and the points, the drop-offs, that type of stuff. And it is a big, loud, aggressive crankbait. It's got a wide wobble on it. It's huge. It displaces a lot of water. It's just a really aggressive crankbait. And if you've got a school of fish that you pull up to it and you haven't made a cast, this will catch the biggest fish out of the school. So it's something they don't see a lot simply because of the size of it. I'm not saying this thing is a limit getter, but when I'm talking about deep cranking, I'm talking about trying to catch quality fish. I equate deep cranking with quality fish. And guys, try this Big M 7.5. You know, they make another one, the Big M 4.0, which is a big size like this with a square bill lip on it. And like I said, Baitworks in Springfield's got a big selection of them. You can use that link there. It's a good way to support the channel, but that's one of my favorite. Honorable mention, guys, is the Strike King DT series. This is a balsa bait. It's quiet. It's a subtle bait with a tight wobble. Very situational. I usually use it in a little bit more finicky area. But if I'm gonna have to rate my top 5 in there, the Big M 7.5 would be my favorite, and the Strike King fat-free shad would be like my 5th or 6th choice, with everything else in between. So anyway, that's just what's worked for me, guys. The ones I just showed you here are ones I've had success with. Might give them a try. I think the Lat-Up's some good fish for you. So we'll see y'all later.